Lazerboy, what is the secret of your powers?
Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the Lazerboy episode question mark. Let's just call this a special episode. End of the year list. I'm going to be doing not a top 10. Last year I did not do a top 10 list of 2020 just because, it was a different time. Not that many movies came out. And so I just pretty much listed my favorite movie of 2020 and my favorite show of 2020. And if you guys remember, before I recap that, let me plug the website, thelazerboy.wordpress.com. Email us at thelazerboyblogger@gmail.com and find our episodes on YouTube. Just type in The Lazerboy. That's The Lazerboy with a Z. And also find us on Instagram at The Lazerboy. All right, so if you guys remember from last year, my favorite movie was Mank by David Fincher. Story about Mankiewicz. I forget his name. Ben Mankiewicz? No. Starring Gary Oldman as the titular screenwriter Herman J. Mankiewicz. Sorry if I forgot about that. Yeah, I pretty much related it to my own plight. I was writing a screenplay at the time, which is still being developed, being rewritten as we speak right now by the powers that be, my co-writer and director. We adapted his award-winning short film into a feature-length script. So that's still being developed right now. Root for me, please. Keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I guess would be a little morbid to say, but keep rooting for me, guys. It's still being developed. These things take a lot of time, so I'm still talking to my former film professor as well. So knock on wood that he comes through on that, on developing a sitcom idea I've been working on for the past 2 years, I guess. I've been sitting on it for a while, so. And so, moving on, moving on. My favorite show of the year was Dave from FXX, the TV show about one Dave Bird, aka Lil Dicky. If you guys can remember, I am a huge fan of films about celebrity, stories about celebrity, TV shows about celebrity, and like making of films. So, one of my favorite films of all time is Adaptation, a film about a screenwriter, Charlie Kaufman, played by Nicolas Cage, directed by Spike Jonze. And one of my favorite, I apologize for this all the time, I'm a huge Entourage apologist just because I know it's kind of like not prestige television and it's kind of badly written, but it's very much like wish fulfillment for me. I just love the fact that it, glamorizes being a Hollywood celebrity actor, glamorizes being, in the business from the perspective of Vincent Chase. He's the actor, and his manager E, played by I forgot his name. I know Ari is played by, I forget, but pretty much follows this actor and his group of friends and his agent and his manager. So Dave, 2020 and 2019 for that matter were missing my favorite show at the time, being Atlanta, a show about up and coming trap artists from Atlanta, Georgia. So aptly titled series there, Atlanta, starring and created by Donald Glover. So yeah, that's a quick little recap. Sorry if I'm a little rusty at this. Been recapping Spider-Man with my friend Steven, so this is just going to be me talking throughout the episode, and I'm just going to give you guys kind of a rundown of what I've been watching, TV and film. Let me get film out of the way first, just because, you know, I've been, I think, probably moving away from watching too much film. I mean, I watch the the power hitters, right? Just the Marvel films, and I think the first film I saw in theaters since 2020 was or is it Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, just because Marvel film. I skipped Black Widow. I saw that on VOD. Just didn't feel safe in early 2021 yet, even though I was vaccinated around April. Just didn't want to risk it, and I was like, come on, prequel, Black Widow, not really my favorite Avenger there. So, just been moving away from film. I watch very little film at home, even though I have a 100-inch projector and projector screen and surround 5.1 setup with subwoofer. I watch. Let's run down the year real quick. I love doing. I love going down the Wikipedia and running down. I have eidetic memory of what I watched throughout the years. I always run down the list from January to December, and I say, "Oh, hey, I remember I watched this movie at this theater with this friend." Because I've always been like that. If you listen to our past, best films of 1999 and so on and so forth, you know that that's what I like to do. I'm a huge list guy. Let's run this down real quick. Didn't really see anything in January. Oh, but to kind of end my point there, I think I've been just staying away from movies in general, just because you know the theater experience has been gone and almost being diminished, unfortunately. And we have a lot more time on our hands these days to just power through and binge through our favorite TV shows. And I think I've become more conditioned to like longer narrative structure and arcs. And I talked about this a lot about the MCU, how they've been kind of taking all of these qualities of serial storytelling. Kevin Feige has been telling the MCU in sort of like a continuing narrative arc. And we see these characters again and again, just like we do in TV shows. Phase one of the MCU, starting with Iron Man in 2008 and ending with the Avengers in 2012, was like a season of television, if you think about it that way. The Avengers was the season finale, and then concluding with phase three, Endgame, felt really much like a series finale of a series, of a show. And down to they revisited, spoilers for Endgame, but how they like go back in time and almost kind of recapping like the highlights, like the best of moments of the series, like going back to the events of 2012 New York City. And Thor: The Dark World was a huge highlight, but you know what I mean. And then going back to Guardians of the Galaxy on Morag on 2014, it's almost like what they do on series finales. Like they say, hey, these are like the best of highlights of our, these are the best of times here for our characters. I'm rambling on a little long here about the MCU, but I'm just saying Kevin Feige applied that to the cinema, and it's become kind of the norm now that it's become not only commercially viable, it's become part of the culture. You know, what do people do when they stay at home? They don't read a book or watch a movie. They'll binge something on Netflix and chill. So it's just ingrained in our culture now to just binge watch. A series of episodes. One episode is not enough. 42 minutes is way too little for you to consume some content. So, and then now it's, if you want to digest that and make it more condensed, it's all about like YouTube videos and TikTok videos for our youth now. So they're just consuming consecutive minutes, I guess, of content on smaller platforms. So what I'm saying is, I guess the past 2 years movies have been diminishing in that sense, and it's safe to say that it's going to be difficult to get that back. Especially with how things are going right now with Omicron, however you want to say that, coming back again. So it's just, this thing will never die. We're just gonna have to learn to live with it, and live with this culture of consuming TV. TV is the new cinema. So, all right. With that being said, let's go down this list. January, I didn't really see anything in 2021. I'm looking here at the White Tiger. No, the Little Things, actually saw that when it dropped on VOD. HBO Max Warner's has been dropping everything on HBO Max, I should say. So, excuse me. The crime drama starring Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. Rami was hugely miscast in this. I thought it's just, he's an edgy actor. Like, I get it. You didn't want to typecast him as the weirdo, the rebel, the terrorist or something all the time. But yeah, horrible miscast. He's a great actor. I don't buy him as a lead detective anyway, and he didn't have that great a chemistry with Denzel Washington. Jared Leto, amazing as always, and I liked it overall. I liked what they were going for. Nicely, you don't see that that mid-budget tier crime drama anymore because they're becoming shows. So, and in that case, I don't think it would have been a success in theaters either. It probably would have did okay. Probably more than likely would have bombed. So, No Man's Land, I did not see that, and won the Oscar, I believe, for Best Picture that year. Yeah, I'm talking like past tense because it's already 2022. I'm talking January 3rd now of 2021. So, really wanted to watch Malcolm and Marie on Netflix just because huge Sam Levinson fan. I loved Euphoria, I love Zendaya, and I loved John David Washington. But I heard really bad reviews, so I decided to skip it. Too much content out there. That's another thing. That's why I'm skipping movies. It's just I'm too wrapped up in all the TV that I'm watching and that I'm rewatching, and it's just, that's another problem that movies face today, right? Other TV shows as well, but when the market is just so saturated, even stuff that's like mid tier that used to be enjoyable before is like, we're just gonna skip it. Well, I'm gonna skip it at least. Judas and the Black Messiah in February. I really wanted to see that. I never got around to seeing it. Was rooting for it at the Oscars though. Minari, I did see that. Just wanted to squeeze that in before the Oscars, and I was rooting for it for Stephen Yeun and Lee Isaac Chung. I believe the grandma won the Best Actress, Supporting Actress award, and was kind of flirting with Brad Pitt there in backstage, so that was kind of cool. Nothing else in February. I really kind of wanted to see Cherry, just to, wanted to see the Russo brothers back in the director's chair, their follow-up to Endgame, and I heard it was really bad. So, just like whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Just they, I guess, kind of, I don't know how you say this, just did everything that you're not supposed to do, to make a good movie. I don't want to, get into details, but I decided to skip it. Coming to America, I wanted to watch that too. I even watched the original Coming to America from the 90s, and I was a huge fan of Dolomite Is My Name, which paired the director Craig Brewer with Eddie Murphy, and was about a B movie blaxploitation star who got a second chance, and another great film about a film. Another film that's similar to that is I guess The Disaster Artist. How it's just about it's never too late, right? To keep pursuing your dreams, even if they may be wild and ridiculous as a career in Hollywood. Just keep doing it, and you'll find something. You'll find your niche. You'll be successful somehow. I really love that message, and I'm talking about Dolomite Is My Name there. So that's, I believe it was from like 2018. All right, Ryan the Last Dragon. I actually saw that. I liked it. Great to see some Asian representation in something as big as a Walt Disney Animation Studios picture. It dropped on Disney Plus, so great little cast there with Kelly Marie Tran, Aquafina, Gemma Chan, Daniel Day Kim, Benedict Wong. Wow, I didn't even know that all these people were. Alan Tudyk was the only like non-Asiatic name I see in there. The directors Don Hall, Carlos Lopez Estrada, Queen Nguyen, Adele Lim on the screenplay. Very cool. I didn't know that there was so much representation in that film. Very proud of it. Chaos Walking. I kind of wanted to see that Doug Liman, based on that young adult novel, and starring what's her name, Ray from Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland. Oh, Mads Mikkelsen is in it. Wow. Nick Jonas, Damon Bashir, Cynthia Erivo. Man, Kurt Sutter, Ray McKinnon, David Oyelowo. Wow. What a cast. Yeah, I heard bad things about it, so I just decided to skip it, but that cast makes me want to see it, so I'm probably going to go back and see it. Sorry, I'm phlegmy today. Hopefully I didn't catch anything. Cross my fingers here. Zack Snyder's Justice League. If you want to know my thoughts, listen to our 3+ hour podcast with myself and my podcasting cohort, Afonso. We talked a lot about that. We loved it. So, all right. Nobody. I wanted to watch that too. Bob Odenkirk. Better Call Saul. Godzilla vs. Kong. I saw that. VOD. Sat at home. I thought it was okay. Actually, no. I thought it was kind of ridiculous and outrageous and stupid. So, good spectacle, but that was about it. Just dumb. I don't know. I don't want to get into it again. Just thinking about it, I was just like, wow, okay. These Hollywood blockbusters are just getting dumber and dumber. But, I guess you gotta kind of come to expect that. Mortal Kombat, again, really dumb. Mild spoilers, but how can you have a movie called Mortal Kombat about a tournament and not have the tournament? Jesus Christ. What were they thinking? Go back and watch the 90s version. It's still bad, but better than this one. Without Remorse, I watched that for when I was writing for Black Action Stars, and I did a review on it. Gave it like a B or something, like a B+, I think, for the review. And I stand by it. I thought it was promising. Stefano Salima, the director of the Sicario Day of the Soldado, I forget what it was called, the sequel to Sicario, and written by Taylor Sheridan, the writer of the original Sicario, the two Sicarios. And I'm a huge fan of Taylor Sheridan, from Sicario, Hell or High Water, and even his Wind River. I love Wind River. So underrated. Jesus, with the two MCU people, Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch. I can't for the life of me think of their names right now. So watch that movie. What's the name's in it? Punisher's in it too. I'm terrible with names right now. But yeah, Without Remorse has so much potential, man. Michael B. Jordan, Jamie Bell. Dude, should have been good, but it's not that great. Let's see here. All right, I'm just gonna go through these a little quicker. Army of the Dead, I wanted to watch that. Didn't watch it. Quiet Place Part 2, kind of don't want to watch it, but didn't watch it. Cruella, nah, skipped. Let's see here. Luca, oh yeah, that was a good one. The Pixar film that dropped on Disney Plus. Great representation here. You know, it's Italian. Felt like a very, almost like Call Me by Your Name, the countryside in Italian villa. A very great message about, you know, identity, and if you want to call it like gender identity. Very forward thinking themes there going on. Really loved it. It's a nice little movie. F9. Oh my god, I don't know what they're trying to do with that now, but at least Justin Lin is back. But you know, they lost Chris Morgan as the screenwriter. He wrote all those and kind of kept them together, and they were outrageous already. They're starting to get just more and more outrageous, but at least he had some kind of consistent quality to it. And spoilers, they go into space, guys. They take a car into space. Like, if that's not jumping the shark, I don't know what is. Not worth it. I'm over. I was kind of over it after F8 when, you know, they're driving a submarine. Like, I get it. It's just mindless action. It's supposed to be fun, but come on. Ooh, July. No Sudden Move. Yes, I really love that. Ed Solomon returning with Soderbergh, one of my favorite directors. Wrote The Limey with him. Yeah, so Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, David Harbour, John Hamm, Amy Seimetz, Brendan Fraser, Kieran Culkin. Oh, I'm love Kieran Culkin right now, especially with Succession. But yeah, I loved it. Great little mid-budget picture there that we're losing, and dropped straight to HBO Max. And I don't know what the numbers are on that, but probably did way better than it would have in theaters. Black Widow, yeah, it was released in July. Yeah, yeah, you know, I think the movies this year were kind of the MCU movies, I should say, were kind of overshadowed by their shows, the Disney Plus Marvel shows, Marvel shows. But you know, it was fine. Good little backstory for Scarlet Witch, for Black Widow there. God, what's her character's name? Natasha Romanoff. Great showcase for Florence Pugh. Loved her since that AMC show, Little Drummer Girl, directed by Park Chan Wook, with that Skarsgård fella, that tall guy. She's great in that. It's like one of her breakout roles. And of course, loved her in the horror film. God, what's the guy that did? I'm blanking on that right now, but I'm looking it up just because not Mulholland Drive. What's it? Freaking Midsummer. God damn it, Midsummer. Fantastic film from 2019. All right, going through July here. Jungle Cruise, I caught that. Fun little like Pirates of the Caribbean esque. Oh man, I forgot the Suicide Squad came out. Man, that got a lot of. It didn't do that well in theaters, but again, theaters were just opening up again. Dropped on HBO Max as well, so I loved it. You know, it was just very where they subvert your expectation They set you up like it's like the comedian Anthony Jeselnik. He sets you up for a punchline, right? He'll say, I just watched his special the other day, and he said, okay, here's an example. It's kind of off the top of my head, but so he's describing he was watching something like my parents caught me doing something terrible, watching BDSM, and then you expect that he's gonna deliver this outrageous punchline or something. You think it's gonna go one way, right? And then he says, and then they turned around and caught me, like because he's watching it behind their backs. Like you didn't expect that, right? So something like that, and I love that kind of humor. Very dark, very black humor, very ironic, and the Suicide Squad is just a mile a minute, just those kind of jokes. And it may rub people the wrong way. It may be too intelligent for people to grasp, but way better than the David Ayer version. Again, like I don't want to get too much into it, but the David Ayer version is just micromanaged to hell. And I really wish, we also could have gotten the Ayer cut, but probably not going to happen. You could just tell that David Ayer was just trying. Well, that cut anyway was just him trying to paint with somebody else's voice, if that makes sense. And James Gunn is just at home in this genre with, the Suicide Squad is essentially trying to be the DC version of Guardians of the Galaxy. And what better way to do that than get the director from Guardians of the Galaxy? I believe he was hired when that Twitter controversy, and he was essentially fired after Guardians 2, and then he took the job the Suicide Squad before he was rehired onto Marvel to finish out his trilogy of Guardians films. So underrated film. It didn't get that much press. Loved Idris Elba over Will Smith. Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but that final, the end there is just outrageous and in a way that you'd never expect. Or maybe you do expect it from this kind of film, who knows. Alright, let's keep going. Free Guy. I really liked Free Guy. Sean Levy about I'm not a gamer, but non-user? Fuck, I forgot what it's called. But he's basically Ryan Reynolds is playing like a character, in a game that's not a user, like one of the CPU characters, for lack of a better term. And starring Jodie Comer as well, Lil Rel Howery, Taika Waititi, and distributed by 20th Century Studios, which is now owned by Disney. So free reigns to just use all these great movie references. They use everything from Marvel to Star Wars, so really surprised me there at the end. Zach Penn wrote the screenplay with Matt Lieberman, so he's a name I recognize. Zach Penn, anyway. Don't Breathe 2 came out this year. I didn't see that. Reminiscence, Lisa Joy, the wife of Jonathan Nolan of Westworld fame, and Jonathan Nolan also co-wrote The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, so he's big name there. I didn't see it. Hugh Jackman, Rebecca Ferguson, Tandy Newton, Cliff Curtis. Sounds great, but again, I didn't hear that great stuff. So Martin Campbell came back with The Protege. Wow. Maggie Q and Michael Keaton, Samuel L. Jackson, Robert Patrick. Jesus. Maggie Q, Vietnamese representation right there. I think she's half Vietnamese. There, I could be mistaken. But good for her. She's still doing her thing, still doing that action stuff. So Candyman came out this year. I believe it was, I want to say it was Blumhouse, but it's not. Monkey Paw Productions here. Jordan Peele wrote the screenplay, so Yahya Abdul-Mateen, love him in Watchmen, the HBO version. Alright, I'm going to run through these real quick. Shang-Chi, I told you guys that was my first movie I saw in theaters. Last one was before pre-pandemic was Bad Boys for Life, and the theater was kind of that wasn't packed because I saw it on like a Wednesday, like a couple of weeks later, and I just did that deliberately to avoid crowds. But it was really cold in my theater. I remember that. I didn't wear a jacket. And I was just like freezing my royal knees off. Where did I get that term, knees? Huh. Movie I wanted to see, Card Counter, Paul Schrader. Wrote and directed it. Oscar Isaac, Tiffany Haddish, Ty Sheridan, Willem Dafoe. Wow, God, it's still on my thumb drive here. I'm gonna watch it soon. I swear. Let's see here. Going through September. Dead air, guys. Dead air. Oh, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I'm going to talk about Spider-Man a little bit just because, how can I not? It's the biggest event film of the year. There's no Star Wars anymore year after year, so that's going to be the big event film of the year. But, yeah, I heard it wasn't that great, and I kind of like the first one. Yeah, I'll watch anything with Tom Hardy, but okay, I'll come back to it when I talk about Spider-Man. Many Saints of Newark. Wow, the prequel of the Tony Soprano film here. Interesting because I'm going to talk about this when I talk about the TV, go into the TV section here. But yeah, really, I'm like deep into the Sopranos right now, so I'll come back to it when I talk about the TV. But all right, you know what? Let me just talk about it right now. It's a seminal TV show for a lot of reasons, but when I first saw it, I was a little young, maybe in my 20s. Watched like the entire series. I binged it through like on Netflix when I was still getting mailers and the DVD mailers, and in my mailbox, and didn't really get it. I was like, hey, I heard it was great. The best TV series, one of the best TV series of all time, up there with The Wire, right? I didn't really get The Wire either, but I get it now. It's just the subtle humor, just that blue collar, not blue collar, but just the mundanity of life, of day to day operations, just the grind of life. And they just kind of not satirize it, but they've turned it into like a dark comedy, like a comedy of manners. And yeah, say what you will about all the eruptions of violence and all that stuff. Yeah, it's pretty shocking. But that's the culture of like old world Italianos, right? And the mafia culture in general. You gotta assert your dominance, right? So, but all their like they're scheming, all their housing schemes, and they're just I didn't really get that in the back in the day. I was like, what? Why? They're just making money. They're just doing all this organizational crime, organized crime. It's all well and good, but the way that the characterization of that show is unrivaled. Every character, even down to the tertiary, secondary characters, are just so well defined. And the writers' room, I respect that writers' room to hell and back. It's just wow. They put in their work and great world building, and I can't say enough about it. This is the blueprint of the golden age of television. This is what you go to. This is your Bible when you want to make, a great television series. Breaking Bad knew that. I'm rewatching that as well. So that's all I want to say about that, because I don't want to get too deep into it. I'm just gonna talk up its ass all night long here. So let's keep going here. No Time to Die. Yeah, I saw it in theaters as well. It was a little underwhelmed just because I probably had such high expectations. Waited so long for it. My favorite Daniel Craig Bond film is still Skyfall. A lot of people will say Casino Royale, and I love that too. Just the mind games of the confidence game of playing Texas Hold'em. I guess what is that the kind of poker they play? But genius, yeah. Casino Royale is genius, very subtle. But Skyfall, something about Skyfall to me, I love the fact that what's his name, Sam Mendes directed it, and has like a theater background, so he kind of elevated it to like this prestige level, like opera, and it just felt really heavy, and every shot was just so composed with the Jesus, what's the DP is really famous. I can't remember his name right now, but No Time to Die was fine. Rami Malek again wasted. Leia Sadu was alright. Lashana Lynch was alright. Anna Darmus was the best part of that, and I can see why they wanted to delay it, being a spoiler. The biological chemical weapon there used by the villain. Not my favorite Daniel Craig film. It's still worth watching. Cool ending, I guess. I sound a little really mixed there, don't I? Halloween Kills, I kind of want to watch that still. Kind of over that series. I don't know if I can go back to watching horror films. Just or my life is a horror film. Why would I want to subject myself to that? The Last Duel. Still want to watch that. Ridley Scott's on fire this year with that, and I guess not really because they both bombed. But between that and House of Gucci, all this is coming in October. Oh, The Velvet Underground. I still want to watch that from Apple TV Plus. Todd Haynes. Wow, what's he been doing? Dune. Really sorry I missed this in theaters. My friend Dat, friend of the show, invited me to watch it on the only dual laser, which is the true like 1:9:1 aspect ratio of an IMAX film or an IMAX projection at the City Walk in Universal City there, and I had to decline just because I'm an old man now. I'm not old, but the thought of going to the theater now just gives me anxiety. So for some reason, I declined, but I do kind of regret it now, just because I don't know if I'll ever get to see it again. Hopefully, when the pandemic ends or is containable, they'll re-release all these movies I missed in theaters, like Tenet, as well. So French Dispatch, I still gotta watch that. Wes Anderson, come on. Ah, man, I didn't expect this to be so long. Jesus. Eternals, I missed that. Just I hate the trailer. Just come on. And I heard such bad things about it, but I respect that they're doing something different. But yeah, I skipped it. I'll still watch it when it hits VOD Disney Plus. Ghostbusters Afterlife, I skipped that. Stephen Best, friend of the show, saw it. He liked it, I guess. House of Gucci, still want to watch that. Licorice Pizza, gotta see that. Paul Thomas Anderson, his first films in 4 years since not Inherent Vice. What's the Phantom Thread? Mixtape, what is this? That sounds kind of cool. Probably not. Who knows? West Side Story bombed. Nobody wants to see these, Steven Spielberg, man. Come on. I don't know why that bombed, but nobody wants to watch like non-superhero films in the theaters anymore. Don't Look Up, still got to see that on Netflix. All right, so we're getting to December here. I didn't see. Okay, well, God, I have so much to talk about. I thought this was gonna be really short. All right, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Genius way that they marketed this film. Just minor spoilers, but for the trailers they show, characters from other Spider-Man films like Doc Ock and Green Goblin from films that they have since rebooted already. So just the talk and anticipation of that alone, it marketed itself. You know what I mean? That's fucking genius. And it did not disappoint. We're going to talk about this more in detail in our Spider-Man podcast coming up here, part 3 of the Into the Spider-Man. So I want to save all my, conclusive thoughts on it there. But let's just say, it retroactively makes you want to go back and watch all those, the Raimi trilogy Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield, Mark Webb Spider-Man. Even makes you want to watch. Obviously, you'd want to watch the Tom Holland MCU Spider-Man. But how does it retroactively make you want to watch the Venom movies as well? I'm not going to say how they do that, but it does. I mean, I had no intention of watching Venom Let There Be Carnage. Yet, I do want to watch it now, and revisit the 2018 Venom while I'm at it. So, kudos to MCU, Kevin Feige, Disney, Columbia, Sony. Man, I think at this moment it has made 1.3 billion, I want to say, worldwide. So, another winner on their hands. All right, Matrix Resurrections to close it out. If you're expecting, another The Matrix, which I kind of thought of when I saw the trailer, I was like, hey, it's another Lego sequel. It's like what the Force Awakens was to A New Hope, right? It's just going to kind of not recontextualize, but kind of reboot it in a way that kind of mirrors the first one, but do it in a more clever way. And in some ways it does that, but it's still bogged down by, I mean, look at the Wachowskis' body of work. And that's another reason I thought I didn't have too much high expectations for this film, because I was like, Jupiter Ascending, really? Cloud Atlas, really? Sense8, not that great. They haven't made a good movie since The Matrix and Bound. So why would you expect this to be any good? It still has its moments, and Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss are worth watching, as is Yahya Abdul-Mateen the second, and Jessica Henwick, Jonathan Groff, Neil Patrick Harris. But it is a farce. It is a shell of itself. It's a cash grab, and I did like that it kind of got meta. I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah, I'm on this anime from the 90s group on Facebook, and they just were raving recently about the Animatrix, since it dropped recently, replayed on Adult Swim, and they're saying this is the only good Matrix sequel. Technically it isn't. It's just like kind of like a spin-off. I mean, it does have a short that takes place in the movie universe, and I guess the other shorts can be considered canon as well. But yeah, I gotta agree. I mean, worth it for the second Renaissance alone. First Renaissance is great too. But the Watanabe shorts steal the show. Kid Story and Detective Story. Wow. Yeah, the Animatrix. Just watch the original Matrix and the Animatrix. If you're really curious, watch it. Just don't expect anything groundbreaking or semi-great. It's good. It's okay. It's passable. It's decent. But yeah, what are you doing? Wachowski's like, what happened to you guys? Like The Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions, I liked at the time just because I was like a pretentious stoner kid who loved philosophy and mind-bending shit like that. It opened up my mind. And when I watch it now, it's just like they're preaching. It's like, hey, it's like they read all the comments on the internet about how the Matrix is just this huge, opened up all these possibilities of these philosophical connotations, and they're like, yeah, let's go with that and make it expand that even further. But they somewhere along the way they just lost sight of what made the Matrix so good. Is the mystery, what is the Matrix? Was the tagline when the trailer came out? Great marketing, by the way. What is thematrix.com? And once we knew what the Matrix was, and I don't want to get into too much, but they didn't know what to do. They should have thought it out a bit more. They rushed it out. They made those sequels back to back. The producers and the studio just wanted to capitalize on it, and I get it. From a business perspective, you gotta strike while the iron's hot, right? As the saying goes. But I don't think the Wachowskis are cut out for that, man. They needed more time. Give it another year or two, man. We would have still known what it was in 2005. Like 6 years later. I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? What the fuck do I know? All right. Anyway, fuck, man. It's already like 40 minutes into this. Should I talk about my favorite TV? Yeah, let's just go through this real quick. All right. So yeah, what was my favorite film of the year? I should have ended it there. Let me just end it there with my favorite film of the year, and that is. Oh yeah, I forgot about Space Jam: A New Legacy. I wanted to watch that, but you know what? I did not pick one out. Just nothing stood out to me this year. But gun to my head, if I had to choose one. Oh, I really wanted to watch The Paper Tigers as well, and Mainstream, by Gia Coppola. How many Coppolas are there? Nepotism at its finest, huh? Ooh, I wanted to watch the Billie Eilish film. Kind of want to watch Boogie. The only movie that stands out to me is like the MCU films, Spider-Man No Way Home. It's probably going to be my favorite movie of the year. Why not? I was thinking, like, I didn't want to pick like a tentpole blockbuster film, but it really feels different. It really, feels like a Christmas wintry movie. The mood is definitely different from the previous two summer installments. Yeah, why not? Favorite movie of the year: Spider-Man No Way Home. All right, I'm gonna breeze through the TV section real quick. All right, I really wanted to watch Ted Lasso. I didn't get a chance to watch that. It's in season 2 right now on Apple TV. Didn't get to see that. Master of None. I know it's kind of like a not even has like Aziz Ansari like cameos in it. So, but I love the first 2 seasons. I love that kind of TV where it feels like a indie film, but didn't get to watch that. Wanted to watch that HBO show, the Mike White one. Man, I was not prepared for this. The White something. The White Lotus. There you go. Watch Succession. Oh, Curb Your Enthusiasm was back. Loved it. Insecure ended its run. Kind of got over that. That AMC show with Matt Murdock from Daredevil. Kin was what it was called. Kin, yeah, Kin. Kinzilla's. Kind of like that. Very like Irish Godfather ish. Dave was back. I loved it. Had a great like K-pop episode where it just pretty much went down all the talking points of what's going on in K-pop right now. The suicide rates and how they are very strict about marijuana use and just appropriation, right? All these issues that they've kind of jam packed in that episode. The episode with Doja Cat is probably one of my favorite, and ended kind of strangely. Oh, actually, yeah, it ended really cool actually, with Dave going on tour there. So, you on Netflix with Penn Badgley playing Joe Goldberg kind of got off the rails there, season 3, but it's really sharp writing, and I love the universe. Kind of like a woker, modern version of Dexter. Just this guy with secrets, and he's more stalkery and perverse than Dexter is. But speaking of Dexter, Dexter's back. Dexter New Blood, which really is kind of course correcting itself from the terrible series finale, season 8. And rewatching, speaking of Dexter, the original series, I'm not going to get into too much, but it really felt like it was too scared to take chances. Like it didn't want to put Dexter through conflict, and didn't want, and spoilers for Dexter, kind of. But Dexter's a serial killer who kills other serial killers. He's a vigilante serial killer. He has a code, but his secret was never revealed till like the final 2 seasons. It felt like the writers and the writers' room were really too scared to put him in conflict with other, his sister and people who are close to him, especially his department, and just felt like they were just being cowards the entire series. Whereas you look at a series like Breaking Bad. Spoilers for Breaking Bad, minor. I try to keep it non-specific, but shit hits the fan in the last season of Breaking Bad, and they're not afraid to go there, and that's just really bold. Talked about The Sopranos already. I'm rewatching that. Narcos. Wow, almost forgot to talk about Narcos. Narcos Mexico season 3. Was not planning on watching it, but I'm gonna speak about finality later with my favorite TV show of the year. But something about finality, when you know that it's gonna end, they're not just gonna spread out and try to make up some more story just to get more ratings and money. It feels really impactful, like these characters are doing something that matters, and that has what's the word I'm looking for, has weight, has gravitas, and matters. It's significant. It's not arbitrary, right? It's not. I don't know. I don't have any adjectives or anything in my brain left right now. But when it has an end game, a series can be really powerful. And Narcos Mexico really, and even the original Narcos, the one about Pablo Escobar, minor spoilers, kind of, yeah, spoilers, but you guys know Pablo Escobar dies in real life, right? So when he dies in season 2, like, you didn't think they could go anywhere, but season 3 kind of was low key genius with the Cali cartel and a new group of characters, and I didn't think that it would be good anymore, and it kind of reinvented itself. Narcos Mexico then reinvented itself and goes back in time with, they're all connected. So season 3, wow, amazing show. Probably would have been my favorite show if not for what is my favorite show, and I'm not going to get to that yet. I still want to talk about MCU shows. WandaVision is my favorite, along with Loki. Just getting into talk about like high concept, and WandaVision could not exist in any other format. The first couple of episodes exist in like a different era of TV genre. Like Leave It to Beaver in the 50s, and then Happy Days, I guess, into like the 90s with like Malcolm in the Middle, and really inventive, really high concept. It really outdone themselves there at the MCU, and That's what I was talking about earlier, but with Black Widow being overshadowed, and even like the Eternals. I haven't seen it, but even Shang-Chi, like all these movies being overshadowed by these great high concept MCU shows, right? WandaVision, Loki, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, even Hawkeye. Fantastic show. I love Hawkeye too. It's only 6 episodes, but that's all it needed. Perfect. It was a perfect show. To me, anyway. I guess my expectations for that show were really low, but it really surprised me, and I liked it a lot. But out of those four shows, WandaVision, Loki. If I gotta pick one, Loki, man, Loki, Loki. I don't want to do another pun there, but Loki, my favorite show of the. I really wanted to watch Reservation Dogs. I didn't get a chance to see that. Let's see what else there is. What's that show? Oh, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia came back. Kind of cool. Mythic Quest, Raven's Banquet, I believe is what it's called. Another kind of like Silicon Valley, like the gamer version of that. And The Social Dilemma, I completely forgot to talk about that in the film section, but wow, what an eye-opening film about, our state of technology and the way, social media acquires data and uses it to, overthrow governments. I don't have enough research in front of me to do right now, but it's eye-opening and really shocked me. And I knew these things were happening, but to have it informed to me in that fashion was yeah, really, I can't have any other way to put it, but really eye-opening. All right, I think that's all I've been watching that I can remember. Impeachment, American Crime Story was okay. Kind of hate watching it. Not hate watching, but it felt like homework. Like I started it, and I tend to do that. Like I start something, and I want to finish it. If it's middling, I'll finish it. But if it's really bad, I think the last thing I started that I didn't finish was The Flight Attendant on HBO Max. I really hate it when characters like talk to themselves or talk to like a dead person, like what Dexter does. But Dexter's the exception, just because I don't know, he's a cool character. But when they start talking to dead people, it's like I hate that device. It's like you're really not clever enough to tell me their inner monologue, like to tell me what they're thinking, than to them talk to a dead person. Like, no, that I hate that. Hate that. It's a fucking gimmick. Like, give me something else, dude. You think of something better than that, writers? Come on. All right, so if that's it, anything else on FX? I'm trying to think of. I watched the Sons of Anarchy this year with my mom. We both really love that show, and I do want to watch Mayans MC. So, and I'm watching Breaking Bad this year just to kind of catch up with the events of Better Call Saul. I'm gonna catch up on Better Call Saul. Watching The Shield. And okay, so fuck. I'm running out of saliva in my mouth here. So my favorite show of the year probably has a lot to do with the fact that I'm, heavily into K-pop and Hallyu culture. But Squid Game, a huge phenomenon, probably the most talked about, memed about show of the year. And I really got into K-drama this year too, even though I know it's a very I don't want to say outdated, but it's their writing is very behind compared to like Western shows in terms of like narrative and character. They don't take a lot of chances, just because Korean culture, South Korean culture, I should say, in general, is just very kind of old fashioned. Very patriarchal, and the women still like are inferior. To I don't want to say anything. Trying to kind of choose my words really carefully here, but they're behind. Culturally, they're not as forward thinking. They're like gay marriage is still outlawed there, so understandable. So that's just to say that the best content coming from them is from writers and directors that are very Western influenced. I mean, you look at Parasite, which won the picture for best Oscar last year, 2020. Yeah, for for the year previous, 2019, right? So, and Bong Joon Ho is very Western influenced. He's you look at his films and they don't feel like a South Korean film. They don't feel old fashioned and bogged down by romance and will they get together? I mean, I guess that's K drama in general, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels very edgy and very Western and very just sharp. Very dark, and Squid Game's in the same boat. It took me by surprise because I've been watching a lot of K drama with my mom, and I thought it was just gonna be another run of the mill kind of. Oh, they're gonna take some chances, but it's still gonna be predictable. But it really blew me out of the water. Characterization was excellent. Great little examination of class and wealth and privilege. Of course, all those things that you've been reading, the critics are saying. But again, if this show doesn't, I know it's a huge success, so it's probably gonna get. I mean, it's already greenlit for another season, but I don't think that's a great idea because all the stuff that happens. I'm not gonna get into spoilers. I'm not gonna be too specific, but it's a show, about, they play children's schoolyard games and it's life and death, right? If you lose, you die. So the events in the show feel really final. It's hyper specific about these group of characters. So I don't know how they're getting. Again, I don't want to spoil it, but I don't know how they can continue with the season 2, seeing as the events of season finale. I like to call it the series finale because K dramas usually have one season. That's the series, and it's like 16 episodes and feels really drawn out. But I really felt like this show needed, maybe, I don't know. I didn't need, but it felt like I needed more and I wanted more. And that's great. Like, end it there. Some of the greatest shows, what are they saying, showbiz? Always end with them wanting more, right? Good night. You've been great. You've been a great audience. What comedians say, right? Leave them wanting more. Don't bludgeon them to death and have them just completely tired of your show, which is what they're gonna do, I guess, Netflix. So it feels the finality of it. Again, I said that again about Narcos, but the finality of what happens, what transpires, the last episode, and throughout that series, is given a lot of dramatic weight because it should have been, it should be one season, which should be one series, and that would make it really great. And it's contingent on if it does end, that it will be. It's still my favorite show, but of the year. But if it continues, they're just gonna ruin the legacy of it, which Hollywood has been doing that for ages. So no surprise there. But yeah, great show. Really love it. It's pretty much encompasses what I'm basically into at this moment of my life. Korean culture, and yeah, how you Korean culture, South Korea. There you go. Great representation. We need Asians on the map. So even though it's not Asian American, we need a great Asian American show. That's the next step, guys. Come on, let's get it. Let's get it. Anyway, went on way too long. Wanted to talk for like 40 minutes, turned into like an hour. So if you guys, stayed with me this far, thank you so much. Hope you guys had a great year in television. Keep watching. And if you have any thoughts, comments, please leave them, below. And again, check back onto the YouTube for more episodes coming up. Got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Man Part 3, talking about the MCU Spider-Man there. So, gonna be talking with a person this time, not just me rambling and losing my breath and coughing, along here. So, all right, that's gonna end it. Thank you guys for watching, listening. See you next time.